Om Namah Shivaya, good evening to everyone. Pour ceux d'entre vous qui ne comprennent pas l'anglais, s'il vous plaît, mettez les écouteurs. Si vous ne les avez pas pris, prenez-les dans le fond, l'écouteur et le receveur. So this evening we're concluding, beside other things, the first introductory weekend to the second year of the Shivananda Academy on the topic of Bhakti Yoga. So we thought it's appropriate to talk about Bhakti Yoga. And they're going to hear the students, the 17 students will hear Bhakti Yoga for 9 months now, but let us start tonight on this topic. And I'm going to read from Vishnudevananda Upadeshan, the chapter on devotion, page 245, what he says about Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of love. Everybody talks about love. Everybody wants love. All the songs on the planet are about love. And still it is a mystery what it is. And even more of a mystery how to create it, no? And even more so how to sustain it. And to understand its depths, what it is really. So this would be exploration during this year of the Academy for 9 months. What is really love? And how it can be sustained, invoked and sustained in our heart, because this makes the whole difference in life, no? Whether there is love or there is no love. And of course, we would like somebody to give us love, thinking this is something you can get from someone. This is the biggest misunderstanding in the life of human being, thinking it is something you obtain from outside. Whereas this is really an inner feeling, an inner attitude that is shared, more than something that you get. I mean, someone else expresses this and you also receive it because it echoes to something in you and it invokes the same feeling in you, and this is where you feel uplifted. But we would like the other person to start first, no? The world should love me and then I will love the world. But does this work like this? We've been waiting a long time, no? So somehow Bhakti Yoga is this dynamic attitude to say, I'm not waiting, I am acting, I am doing myself, invoking that feeling, this relationship, mending my relationship to the world. Most important is to the relationship are healthy. Because if they are not, this is the biggest headache and the biggest suffering also. But most important relationship is relationship to oneself, or relationship to the source, which is basically the same thing. If this is good, everything will be good. So Bhakti Yoga is about repairing this relationship to oneself, because somehow through our life it has been damaged, no? It needs some repair, some healing. Lots of healing is needed inside. So this is Bhakti Yoga. It's a healing path to heal the inside, the heart and all its contraction and its pain and its feeling of injustice and misunderstanding, you know, whatever we carry, this whole baggage we carry in the subconscious mind, how it can be dissolved and how we can truly express that, our true essence, which is that love. So that's the path of bhakti, which is said to be sweet at the beginning, sweet in the middle, and sweet in the end. Why do anything else? No? Ultimately, all the other paths cultivate in bhakti, even jnana and bhakti, jnana path of knowledge, bhakti path of love, ultimately they become one. Because what is knowledge if not the knowledge that love is the essence of myself and the essence of everything else, the essence of the world. No? So let's read here what Swami Vishnudevananda says about bhakti. He says, the understanding of bhakti yoga is that the Lord, you know, whoever you see as the source of this universe, is not really the Lord, is not really the master of the universe. Who is then? No? He says the Lord is a master for the devotee, the one who relates to that source is called a devotee. But for the Lord, who is the master? For the source, is there a master also for the very source? And he says, this is a beautiful answer of Bhakti Yoga. He says, for the Lord, the devotee is a master. So the one who loves God is a master of God. Amazing, no? So who is more important, the divine or the devotee, the one who loves God? He says equally important. What is most important is a feeling of love. It's irresistible. If somebody has true love, you cannot resist it because it makes your own inner melts. Even when you become very hardened because of the pain and suffering of life, you feel hard inside. If you encounter true love, something is so touched. People start to cry, not because they are sad, but because they are so touched that, oh, this does exist, something like this, no? This absolute sweetness and absolute well-wishing, this absolute gratefulness, they do exist. They are not only in books. So the devotee is a master for the Lord. This is really called bhakti. The divine, or the source of everything, does not think that you are insignificant. You know, this powerful source, which is a creator of everything, how much power is there? Infinite power. And me, how much power do I have? I'm tired after a day of work. How much knowledge do I have? I am doubting even myself. So knowledge is so limited, power is so limited. How long do I live? A few dozens of years, very short. So one can feel so insignificant. But Bhakti Yoga says never feel insignificant. If there is love in your heart, you are as important as God, as important as the source. So he, the source, the divine, can be your servant through your devotion. Strange idea that the source becomes the servant of his own creatures. That is the only way you can conquer him. If you want to conquer anything and anyone, no? Not even just in intimate relationship, even in business, no? If you want to win a contract or whatever, even there, it is, if you win it in a negative way through, hard competition or something dishonest, maybe you win it temporarily, but it's a question of time that this is lost. But if really you do it in a very sincere, honest way, and with trying to understand the other person, trying to respect the other person, so winning the heart of the other person, then this is the best way to be successful. Also in business, in anything really in life, even more so in human relationship in general. This is the only way you can conquer anybody. The devotee, the one who has love for the source, takes neither credit nor blame for his action. For the divine does the action. So if you put yourself in that very humble situation, this is the most safe, the safest. I'm very humble and I just want to be an instrument. I don't know much. I know very little about life. So how can I make the right action? I don't know. Because when you make a decision, if you don't know all the factors, how can the decision be right? And do we ever know all the factors in a decision? Never. So from the limited intellectual viewpoint, it can never be right, really. Some can be, more worse than others, some decisions, but really from the intellectual point of view, we cannot see, if something is really right or wrong. It's limited what we can see. So this is why from the bhakti standpoint, the bhakta standpoint, he will say, I don't know. I don't even try to pretend that I know something. I take that standpoint, I do not know. My intellect is limited. So I just want that it is done through me, that the action is done through me. The devotee thinks of nothing but that source. No? How can I serve that source? If you want to be dynamic, Swami Shivananda says, he says, serve. It's an interesting idea, no? If you serve, you become dynamic somehow, because by that spirit of service, energy comes to you. The more selfishness, the less energy actually. The more willingness to serve, the more prana comes, and inspiration also for more action. So for the bhakta, the divine source is this content thought wave. Mind is occupying with this. How can I connect? How can I be an instrument? And the thought wave fills every mental space. To fill the mental space with that remembrance is really bhakti. He is the consummation of everything, and everything is to be worshipped. The beauty in bhakti is not just my aspect of the divine, which I want to honor and worship, but everything has been a representation of the divine, or the divine itself, really. Understand that nothing is unholy for the bhakta, because he sees only God, the source. So everything holy. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who see me in everything and see everything in me, he is my devotee, he is my lover. So the one who sees me in everything and everything in me, he is my devotee, my bhakta. That is the meaning of a devotee or a bhakta. Everything in me, and I am in everything. So only God, this divine source, so the surrender to that divine source, can get across this maya, or this illusion of life, illusion that things are steady and lasting, where everything is just like a field of play, like a game. Everything is moving, changing constantly. We would like things to stay, to be permanent, to be safe, but they are not like this. They are going all the time. So safety is not there. It's not in possessions. So safety is where? Only in this inner attitude of connection. That's the only safe place. So, but that doesn't mean that you should not put any effort. If I surrender to God, God do everything now, so I can sleep. Not like this also, because if you sleep, you forget to keep that attitude. And then this is lost anyway. So you do your best and leave the rest to the divine. This is the formula of Bhakti Yoga. Do your best. And after this, you leave the rest to the divine, the consequences, because again, with your limited mind, we cannot see all the effects our action will have. So we just try to put the best attitude. That's all we can do, put the best attitude, and the rest, I leave it to the divine source. Like same thing when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, he says, your right is to action only, never to its fruits. Do the action right, and then universe will take care of the fruits of the action. So the effort is, let me try to constantly adjust my mental attitude. How can I adjust my mental attitude? Well, is this positive? Is it negative now? What is my inner state positive or is it contracted? If it's contracted, how can I relax it? How can I make it more positive? That is the effort, constantly to check, is my mind contracted? And we'll see very often, yes it is. What can I do now to relax it and again to spread a positive energy? It's not enough to do it once or twice, many times during the day, but at least we do satsang morning and evening to remember to start the day and end the day with fixing the mental attitude during the day. Maybe we lose it at some point, but then at least you catch yourself in the evening. So you do your best and leave the rest to God. Surrender to Him. That is all you can do. Again, because we cannot see, the situation fully. We can see it only through a little hole of our intellect. It's like you look at the world through a keyhole. You don't see much, no? You see very little. This is our perspective on life. So incredibly small and limited. So from that perspective, how can we take decisions? So lots of decisions are not, you cannot say mistakes, but they are taken from a limited perspective, and then you see the consequences that they have. So to try to avoid this, to create suffering for oneself through limited actions and thoughts, and one tries to says, okay, I need like a greater understanding to come into this. Let it come from the source. I just connect to this and let it act through me. It's very safe. It's a lot of common sense actually to do this, no? Rest in his or her hands, depending how you see the source. It's neither feminine or masculine, in whichever way you relate to it. It is like you are on the ocean in a small boat and you have no oars. What situation? Imagine you have a rowing boat in the middle of the Atlantic and no oars. We're in bad shape, no? Because it's not very fast, a rowing boat, and on top of it, if you don't have oars, then you how to move and how to keep a direction. This is our situation, is how helpless we are in this life with so little understanding of this body, this mind, of anything really, our relationship to the universe. And so he says, so what can we do? You also have no compass or anything, not even a compass to know where the direction. No? So then you can only stay there in the boat until someone picks you up. That's all you can do. But who is going to pick me up? Not another person in the boat who is also lost. So only like this very, very high power, this infinite vision of the source, if I connect mentally, that can pick me up from that situation. Okay, and then we do one more for tonight. There's so many nice ones, it's hard to choose. Okay, this one. When you chant the kirtan, any kirtan, Gopala, Gopala, any of the kirtan, do not just join in with the crowd. These words can slowly transfer emotion into devotion. So when we chant kirtan, if you are new to this practice, you think, what is the purpose of chanting this? This is in Sanskrit. I don't understand the meaning. And so we join in because chanting is always nice, but maybe we not quite sure what is the purpose of doing this. So it's actually quite precise. The purpose of this is these are mantras. So they are very specific sound charged with a lot of purity and power. And when they are chanted or repeated with presence of mind, that you are really in them with heart and concentration, it changes the energy within ourselves. Emotions are reactions to situation. They are not action, they are reaction. So emotion, which is in a passive state, is transformed into an active state. Devotion is active, emotion is passive. I'm going to do this to you, or you did this to me, or whether it's positive or negative. No? But devotion is not like trying to achieve anything. It's just happy to express. No? It's just pure expression. Like when there is love, it is just happy to express itself, not even seeking recognition. So it is not just in a day or two, but gradually it will wean your mind away from the external objects. Slowly, slowly, when we use those sounds, the mind realizes that the source of joy is not where he thought it was. It's not in possession, but he is itself the source of the joy. So it is like taking a calf away from the mother cow. No, when the age has come for the calf to be separated, it's big enough now. So the calf wants to go back near the mother. But when finally the calf is weaned away, if he goes back to the mother, she will give it a kick. She says, "No, that's it, you're independent." In the same way, you have to slowly wean the mind away from the objects. Realize it's not so important if I have this. It's okay if I have it, nice. But can I imagine my life without this? And at some point you say, yes, actually, I could imagine my life without this, and I will still be okay. Big realization, no? So it is a slow process, and the best way to reach there is to kirtan, no? Chanting, slowly, slowly transform the emotions. Other ways, other disciplines are there, like Jnana Yoga, the deep philosophy, Raja Yoga to discipline the mind, calm down the mind. But these are often too complicated for the mind. Sometimes with all this philosophy is too much. All this self-discipline of meditation is too much. And even if you are a Raja Yogi or Jnana Yogi, Kirtan is the most important thing still to conquer the mind. See, it gives such an important place to Kirtan, even if one is a Jnani, a philosopher, or a Raja Yogi, one who wants to have this mind under control. Still, Kirtan, the chanting, the sound, is the easiest way to conquer the mind, to slow down the mind and bring it back to its own source. Do not sing just with your mouth, though. Sing from your heart. So this is the whole secret of Kirtan. From where do we sing? And you can say, well, I sing from my vocal cords. From what else? Yes, to produce a sound, use your vocal cords. But this is just a mechanical action. But then what makes a kirtan, and not just any song? It becomes a kirtan when it comes from heart. The attitude is one of respect, connection, not trying to produce any effect. It's like you chant inside yourself. Not that you don't want to share it, but it's not to impress, to produce an effect. So dissociate from everything and associate with the Supreme Being. Dissociate in the sense not that you don't want to have anything to do with anyone or anybody, but that there is no more greed. No more greed in when you establish contact with anything or anybody. It's not for the sake of greed of getting something. because whatever you want, you get from this association with the source. And then every other relationship is very beautiful because it is free from expectation. And the best relationship is when it is free from expectation from the other. Okay, so we conclude here for tonight this beautiful text on Bhakti Yoga. And again, we are starting now this 9-month study of Bhakti Yoga for our academy. If anybody still wants to join, it's still possible. We just started this weekend. So if you're interested, you can still join. Let us conclude now with the mantras.